It's a crisp winter morning on the canals of northern France. Moored along the icy banks sit a string of barges that appear to be still asleep.
You see that? It's much more interesting when you wake up in the morning and see that view. I worked on building sites for 25 years. It's not the same here.
Jean works as a deckhand on board the Tennessee. His job requires him to be on the ball all the time.
We make sure it doesn't run aground, that it stops and that it's clean.
The man in charge of everything is Gino. He's the son and grandson of boatmen. He can spend several weeks out on these canals without returning home.
We're always far from home. I'm an international boatman. Our HQ is in Douai, and we're often 500 or 600 kilometers away from home. It's part and parcel of the job.
His partner Jennifer also comes from a family of boatmen.
Can you alert the lock on channel 22?
I replace him when he has to go and give instructions to staff, or eat, or take a nap. I have the same permit as him, and I was born into this job.
When they're not navigating canals, they spend the weekend at home with their children, 15-year-old Luciano and 6-year-old Brooke. It's Monday morning and time to drop them off at school.
Brooke, that's her Monday morning look.
It's still hard for them to go to boarding school. The goodbye is tough. See you on Friday.
Luciano might be used to it now, but this is the first year his little sister has been sent to boarding school.
Are you going to come with Mum?
She's okay. She didn't cry this time. Sometimes there are tears, but today's gone well. We're happy. When she cries, we tend to have a bad week.
With the children now at school, Gino and Jennifer head to their boat. Their cargo is loaded at Dunkirk, and their car also needs to be brought on deck.
Can you put the straps on John with Jennifer? The kids are in a boarding school, and if they call us tomorrow and they're sick and need picking up, we take the car off at the next lock, and Jennifer drives back to get them.
Measuring 110 metres long, this boat carries more than 1,500 tonnes of cargo, equivalent to 100 lorries. The Tennessee heads off now for the east of France. During the trip, Gino sits back and enjoys the passing scenery.
We're 500 metres from the next lock. I'm stopping the engine to slow the speed of the boat to enter the lock.
Jean is on hand to help. Mooring is always a delicate operation.
Mind your feet. If you ever put your foot in when it's pulling, you'll go with it, and your foot would be cut off. You have to be very, very careful not to hurt your hands. You have to imagine you're tying a knot for a parcel. This technique is not very forgiving.
Working on boats is a family tradition. For 5 generations, Gino's relations have been meandering along canals and rivers.
My grandparents had wooden boats that were pulled along by horses on the towpath, and sometimes by the sailor himself, or his wife, or their children. After that, there were iron boats, and then those iron boats were motorized. The boatmen then had a little independence. It was kind of a revolution at the time.
These photos show just how tight-knit the canal community has been.
When there was a party, a communion, a baptism, or a wedding, the boatmen all helped each other out. They cleaned out the hull of the boat, and the party was held inside rather than renting a room.
Today the boats are bigger and more modern, and the living conditions have also improved.
This is my children's room.
This 21st century barge has 3 bedrooms.
The dining area's here.
There's also a large living room and a bathroom.
As I said before, it used to be just a sink. Now it has a bathtub like any other house.
When it comes to cooking, everyone takes their turn. Someone always has to stay at the helm because the cargo has to be delivered on time.
Gino, come and eat.
Whether it's lunch, breakfast or dinner, we always eat separately. She replaces me, I eat, then I replace her and she comes to eat. We always have to keep sailing on.
In the 1970s, there were almost 10,000 boatmen on the canals in France. But thanks to stiff competition from motorways and railways, there are now just 1,000. The atmosphere might not be the same, but for Gino, that doesn't matter. He just wants to protect his profession at all costs and carry on the work of his ancestors.